In beginning of painting this, I'm painting a shape and I'm also looking for the abstract quality of the design and composition. There was a picture that I showed you. Now here's one in black and white, and it shows that abstract pattern that I'm seeking for this lesson. Masking tape my format around the sketch that I'm going to do. I'll proceed to paint in negative space around where I see the negative space between the bodies, the figures that I have in this particular scene, and also thinking of just shape, not naming anything that I would want to name like hat and so forth. So that's why doing the negative space lends itself pretty much to that type of idea. Painting this in a neutral tint, which is a pure black, you get good grays with it. And so I would suggest anybody doing a black and white sketch should be really using neutral tint. Now, in doing this particular painting, I'm looking for that abstract quality and composition for it to come out. And that's why I made a computer-generated black and white picture of this photograph, and that you saw earlier in the tape. And as I paint, I'm painting just shapes, and it's really easy. Basically, it's non-threatening because I'm just painting shapes that mean nothing to my left side of my brain, and so it kind of gives up talking to me and saying that you're wrong all the time, because you can't be wrong with just a made-up shape. But actually, I'm actually looking at the objects and painting them as I see them as a shape, and that's how I did it as drawing too. I don't really mind a little bit of distortion or exaggeration to the figure. I mean, that adds a little bit more of the quality and excitement to that type of painting. And so I'm painting now the legs of this particular person in this particular pattern. Remember now, all of these are lumped together in the same value, and so far I'm dividing them, but then I'm going to try to lump them and put them together later as I keep going, as long as I see the shape. Now this particular person here, I'm going to make all a middle gray. She's all backlit, no light on her whatsoever except for the top of her head and shoulders. So I'm going to come all the way down and just put her as a one shape type of thing. Even the flesh tones, which I know are light, I'm going to make them all a middle gray, and just looking at the shape as carefully as I can, but not being a slave to that. Now adding the next value, a little bit of a darker value comes into play. And so I've added other dark values on the right hand side, as you can see in the tape. And you can go anywhere you want to in this type of technique. You don't have to stay in one shape. You can float around the whole picture, because it doesn't make any difference if it's wet or dry. So we got some shadows on the pavement here that I'm going to put in a little bit. They're just a little awkward looking, so I maybe shouldn't have done it, but there we got shoes underneath this person pushing a carriage. And I'm going to paint in the face, because it's all top lit. It's almost, yeah, it's top lit, not even backlit. And so everything is in shadow, but a lot of reflective light is coming up from the ground. And so I'm going to start on this person right there. That's the shoulder. I left that little light there. I'll leave a little light on that side. Bring down an arm. And as soon as I do this, I think you're going to see the figure. Now I have a figure in between these two that's not painted, and I will paint that into a light middle value. You see, so they're all kind of joining each other subtly, because they're all, it's got the same type of shadow but lighter clothes on some. Oh, there's another stroke here. So what I'd like you to do for this lesson is to get a photograph that has people in it and then crop it so you have this abstract pattern, and you can see that abstract pattern by doing black and white of it, reducing everything to a black and white, and then you'll see exactly where the pattern is. And so that's what I did on the computer. You know, why not use the computer when it's there now? We don't have to do it by hand anymore. Okay, so there's another figure over to the left-hand side. And now I'm going to bring her legs down. If you notice, all the heads are almost on the same plane, so they're all really close to each other. And then for the hair, just a little bit in there. And okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start darkening in some things that I can see. Now you can see this person's face right here. Put a little bit of dark right there. A little bit of dark in there, just indicating where it is dark. They can be just shapes. Now I think I'm going to darken this whole thing up here. And it's a middle value, and there's a tent in front. There's actually two tents. One is in front of the other. And so now we have a okay, now you see that? That's just a design that I'm actually putting in. And now I think you can see where the figures are in regard to that. And then also now this figure here has a plaid shirt. So I'm going to just put this in, just see if I want it in my final picture when I paint it. I think I do, because it's got a texture quality to the shirt. Okay, we're going to darken those legs just a little bit more. You see how these figures now are starting to join each other, and I'm beginning to see my abstract pattern. If I get them darker, you'll be able to see it even more than that. Okay, now I did a little work offside the camera, but you can see I've re-strengthened my values here and there. You can start seeing the highlights that are on top of the heads. And so when you come to class, I'd like you to have a picture that has a group of people similar to what I have in this video. And then you can do a black and white at home if you wish to, or you can proceed to do it in class. I will be painting this picture in class in full color, so you can see how I can adopt this method to painting in color. So thank you for listening.